what's making up the hatch purse. So we're going to put some tearaway stabilizer, a medium tearaway stabilizer in the hoop, and we've got hoop tape and pins along the outside edge to make sure it is secure. We're actually stitching out the placement lines for the two pieces of batting for the upper small area and then the longer area at the bottom, which will be a pocket, and also the zip placement. Laying a piece of batting on top, using our pink thing to actually keep it into place. The paddle on the end of the pink thing, the little square section in there, is really good for holding fabrics down. The batting we're using is just a needle punch, low loft polyester batting. Now, with our zip, we place it between the placement lines. We're putting washi tape at either end of the zip. Washi tape onto batting is really hard to actually get off. Again, using the paddle of the pink thing, we are able to keep that zip nice and flat. We're using lining 1, and it's wrong side up, right side down, facing the back of the hoop. We've turned the hoop over, and we're going to put it in position so it actually runs 1/4 inch over our zip stitching line, and then we're just going to roll up the excess. And I haven't thought about doing this. I usually pin it in there, but using some quilt clips, hold that onto the end of the stabilizer so it doesn't go anywhere. And we're going to then turn the hoop over, is over, and we're going to add our first piece of fabric down. This is to cover our long pocket. And so we're basically stitching these two things together. The lining and this area, this top layer is stitching together, okay? Now keep that lining in position. It's not going anywhere. We haven't moved it. We're doing a flip and fold, so we're folding down the first piece of fabric, which we're using a PU here. That's going to put that into place, and then we're going to do our mesmerizing plaid design, the hatch. It's just watching it stitch. I've watched it many times stitch out, and I keep on just saying, I'll go away and do something else, but I just watch the lines. It's just such a simply interesting piece of embroidery, and it disguises the base fabric so well. Right, that's done. Let's undo those clips and pull our lining down towards the base of the hoop. And we're creating a pocket bag, so we're going to flip it back up. Now it says to come up 1/4 inch past that the top stitching line of our zipper. You'll have a little bit of excess fabric because we've actually lengthened the requirements to cut, just to make sure that everyone gets it into place. Our pocket has a fold which finishes inside the perimeter of this plaid stitching. You'll see it finishes up. But there's no reason why you can't bring it right down to that perimeter if you want to. If you've got a long phone or something that you want to use that for, bring the pocket down. It's your choice. So let's grab fabric 2, and we're going to do the same flip and fold. This time this side has no pocket behind it. So the zip has the pocket that goes down into the plaid stitching. Love Cassie's choice of fabrics for this. So we've got our open hatch. Right, let's just take that tape off and move that zip in so as it's out of harm's way. We know where it is. You've got to watch the zip hangers there. They can be under your foot in a blink of an eye. Let's trim that seam off against the zip. Remove what washi tape we can. Trim that seam back there. That's where the zip's going to go. And we're going to do our placement line for our zip. We trim that seam along the edge there. We're back to it's a shy 1/4 inch. You don't want the zip being pushed out by that seam. By the same token, you don't want too much of a trench happening because you don't want your fabric final strip collapsing into that trench, because basically it is a hole. Taped our zip in, stitched our zip either side. Remove our washi tape. Right, let's prepare our pocket. So our top strip for inside the bag, there's just a strip which is folded in half, so it's widthways fold. And then we turn over the top edge, we turn it over an inch, 2.5 centimeters. Love the heat-resistant measuring tool. It's just fantastic. We placed a folded edge over the edge of our zip stitching. It's by 1/4 inch, so it's the folded edge of that strip. Then we're using PU for this top strip as well. So because we can't press it successfully with heat, we're using some double-sided tape, and that keeps that edge nice and firm, nicely folded. So we put that into place. And this stitching stitches through all those layers. So the underlining folded piece and this top strip. And it back stitches on top of itself to give you a stronger looking stitching line. Right, let's secure that hanger so as it's out of the way. Our other folded edge goes 1/4 inch over the zip stitching line. Secure that into place. And sew that into position. So this is our piece of cork, and again we're making a strip which is going to sit underneath the other side of the zip, so it will cover our raw cut edge of our pockets, and the one fold will sit against the teeth of the zip, and so we do it like we do traditionally. If you can't actually press this into position to find a crease by the iron, just chalk a centre line in and then do the same process. Fold to the middle. If you can't add heat to it because it was PU or something like that, then use a roller or heat a surface and then just lay this on top of the surface and press it firmly with your hands. Because that piece goes over those central joins and then it just adheres. There is a positioning line which is in the file as well, but the choice is yours whether you want to have it even, whether you want to have it closer up to the zip. The choice is yours. That looks lovely. Nice contrasts. Now we're centering our zip and anchoring it with some tape. Center the zip, anchor it with some tape. Right, so the back will go on. So it's right side down, so it's wrong side up. And then we put a piece of batting onto it. So this is the back of the purse. And we don't tape or anything, we just hold it into position. Trim off the excess batting. Easy way of doing it now. Turn over and we're going to put the lining on. So it's right side facing down, wrong side up, secure it, top and bottom and sides. This is going to do ourselves a triple stitch around the edge. So this is our final row of stitching. And it leaves a gap on the right hand side of the hoop so that we can turn it through. There we go. So that's our stitching finished. So take it out of the hoop, remove our tear away from the seams. There we have it. So we want 1/4 inch or a good 1/4 inch all the way around the edge. Or you can use 1/2 inch. I mean, it's whatever you want. And we do, on 3 sides, we do the same. And then we create a little lip or a little excess of fabric where our opening is. Trim our corners off. Okay, scrunch it up so it becomes a little bit more malleable. Turn it inside out. For the first time, there's 2 turnings. Just be patient. This is quite hard. Just be patient. Push your corners out. Get your pink thang or your pokey stick or whatever you use. Try not to use the point of your scissors because that will actually bruise the work and it's very easy to go through. Give it a light press. Be aware what you're using as far as your product goes. I mean, it says we've got heat happening there, but it's not touching anything, so it's safe. Safe for now. So here we're just going to give that a bit of a firm press and quilt clips along the top, and we're going to hand stitch this opening closed. It's hard. So get yourself a sturdy needle, a double thread. If your thread happens to be errant and knotting and what have you, run it through some candle wax just so as it runs through a little bit easier than there. But the PU makes it quite a rigid seam. You're not stitching through the PU, but it does put a bit of duress on your hands. So picking up stitch on stitch either side, This is going to sit up into the top outside edge above the zip. This you never see it. This turn through. Now with the tear away, we just undo where the zip's going to be hiding, and that's why we brought our zip to the middle of our work, so as we can actually get into the purse to turn it through. Pull out all those little straggling pieces when you can. Right, so there's our zip. Take our tape off. Then we're going to turn it through again. So it's a 2-turn. It's very clever. Basically, once that hand stitching is done, you're finished. Push those edges out. Because we got PU and PU, you can actually heat the mat that we're pressing on, and just roll those seams onto that heated mat so as they go flat. Pull the tear away out from that zip. And we are done. Really slowly.